You're tuned to the Focus TV One Network. In the Limelight Live.
But she liked the way I think about it.
Are you ready? Hey, are you ready to go or what?
You're in tune to the Focus TV One Network. In the Limelight Live.
What's up, everybody? It is your host, Luca Brassy, the American Dream. It is In the Limelight Live. I'm here right now with my guest, Miss Taylor Calhoun. Taylor, how are you doing this evening, my dear?
I'm great this evening, Luca. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Here, I gotta show everybody. I got my POW shirt on. Okay.
I was gonna say,
Proud over wealth. You already know.
love it. Gotta represent each other, right?
Always. So anyway, honey, okay, now, I had you on my other show, okay, previously, okay, folks. I had her on Brassy's World, okay, which is my Sunday night show on Blog Talk Radio, okay. She was on just recently, probably about a month ago, maybe or so. We had a great show. It was a great time. So I thought, hey, you know what? It's time for the visual. Let's bring her on In the Limelight Live again with your host, Luca Brassy. So, Mr. Teflon Taylor in the control room. Shout outs to you, Teflon, my brother. So, Taylor, I'm going to give you the floor here just for a minute, okay? Go ahead, introduce yourself, okay? Now, before we do that, though, I just want to say, okay, Taylor is an actress and she also manages a band, okay, called Symmetrical Defiance, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about all this. But before we get into that, go ahead, introduce yourself, and please tell the folks where you are from and how you got started in the path you went on.
Well, everybody, my name is Taylor. I'm from Rome, New York. And it kind of started out as just me helping out sell merchandise for this band. And then they kind of realized that I had more marketing skills than just selling a couple of shirts here and there. And I had very good social connection with people. So they kind of bumped me up to management. And that kind of stemmed from many years of retail experience and understanding people and what they want and what they need. And then after that, that kind of introduced me to my acting career, which was with you. My first film was My Brother Cain, and that was a whole nother level of just absolute insanity. It's two separate worlds that kind of met as one and just have become like this huge platform for me and become a big part of my life.
Very cool. Now, since you brought up My Brother Kane, okay, we're gonna bring that up eventually, obviously, okay. But because you did bring it up first thing, okay, go ahead and tell the people the part that you had the pleasure of playing in that particular movie, please.
This one's always my favorite story to tell because starting out, it's my first film. You would think that I would pick like an easy, like kind of backgroundy type role, and it kind of was a background role, but still, I went out full force ahead and decided, you know what, let's be a stripper today, and just kind of stepped out into the world as a stripper. That was kind of, put your cards all on the table and roll with it type thing.
Yeah.
And then I also played a club patron in that in Club Inferno. So it was definitely one of those roles that kind of pushed my limits and let me see really what I was comfortable with doing and kind of establish myself out there as well.
Very cool. I like it. I like it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The director there, Chris Fior, the guy that shot the movie and everything. You're celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow with him and his family. Is that correct?
Yes, we are. We, like I said, we're tight knit. We've become a family, and it's kind of ironic that I show up and that's how I start out my career. And next thing you know, we're having Thanksgiving dinner together. Doesn't get
I
any
think that's
closer than
great.
that.
Yeah, shout outs to you, Chris, and your wife Tanya. Okay, great people. And again, like I mean, I liked everybody that I met on set that day, but his wife especially is such a sweet lady. And like she doesn't seem like she could be mean even if she really wanted to be. You know what I mean? She's just got that sweet type of personality. Now, as far as shooting that movie and everything, what was your favorite aspect of like the shooting? Was it the actual acting? Was it learning like how to portray the role? Was it what going to the premiere and seeing everything on the big screen? Like the whole process as a whole. What was your favorite part as it was your first one?
I think honestly seeing how it works, because obviously like there's different levels to filming. There's like huge Hollywood productions that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, like we talked about in our last show. And then there's
Right.
our style of filming where we have to make do with what we have and work on what we want to get the best like result. And it doesn't always come out as planned. So it's kind of interesting to see how everything is worked through and how everything's actually done. You have really no clue until you're on the other side of that camera.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. Now, what would you tell someone who's like, looking at getting involved in like an acting gig? Would you tell them maybe don't start out the way I did, or go ahead and get into it the way that I did, or what kind of advice would you give someone that's looking at possibly getting started on this kind of career?
Well, in all honesty, like you can start out the way I did or you can't. It's really up to you. You have to be really comfortable with yourself and you have to understand your limits. And you
Right.
have to have like some serious conversations with yourself, because there are people that aren't gonna necessarily approve of how you did something, or they might be like, you know what, that's not, but you have to be ready for that. There's a
Right.
huge mental preparation that goes into it. So just make sure that at night you can kind of sleep with yourself and don't let the role take over you, because there are some places that certain roles can take you, and you got
Yeah.
to be careful with that.
Right. Yeah. No, and there's stories like I'm sure you've probably seen the 1989 hit Batman, the one with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Nicholson even said that role changed him. And he had warned Heath Ledger about how the role could change him. Which obviously, God rest his soul, it did. Unfortunately, we should all know what happened to Mr. Heath Ledger, which is a tragic situation. But he got so deep into that role, and Nicholson warned him. He told him, he was like, listen, he's like, this role consumed my life, and he
Yeah.
did. And the thing is, it's so weird. I love to talk about, there's a big debate about who played the best Joker. Okay. But the thing is, these two guys, they played it so differently, yet so well, and they had two different takes on the character and, did it so well, now, for you, how did you, find yourself getting comfortable in front of the camera? Not just with My Brother Kane, but with anything else you've done. Was it like a natural, like instant, like boom, you're there, you're ready to go, or did it take a little time? Like how did that work for you?
It took a little time. Like I said in the beginning, I had to like kind of prepare myself to even be in that
Right.
environment very shy and introverted, popular to
Mhm.
contrary belief. Um, and it took some time to kind of be like, okay, this is fine, and like almost act like the camera's just another person. So it got to
Right.
the point now I don't notice it as much. But before I was just like, my in the way, like, and trying to
Mhm.
make sure I was, now I just act like nothing exists and act like I'm
Mhm.
just another person, honestly,
Yeah. I remember
which
a
you are.
long time ago. I remember a long time ago when I was rehearsing for a school play. My music teacher, Mr. Sitterly, told me, he's like, just pretend like all the people like sitting in their underwear or something like that, And I'm just kind of like, and I remember even as a second grader sitting there like, that makes no sense. That's gonna make me laugh.
I
Like I'm
don't
like,
do
wow,
that.
like why would I picture that? But so now as time goes on, you've obviously gotten more comfortable and everything in front of the camera, so as far as your future endeavors go, like, are you looking at trying to get into more like deep roles, like something like more, you know, uh, not so stripperish, not so sniperish, but like
That's such
something
a
like
first one.
different, something, yeah, more of a major thing.
Yeah, eventually I do want to kind of develop a bigger portfolio and get into some bigger roles, but
Mhm.
kind of right now I'm just taking what I can to develop myself professionally.
Right.
I still think I need a little bit more time with some smaller roles to kind of
Mhm.
learn my craft a little bit more and hone in on what type of actress I actually want to be. Um, but I'm just taking my time to kind of work my way up there. I don't want to just throw myself into something.
Yeah, no, that's really smart too. And some people they try to go too big too fast, and that's how a lot of people end up failing. So it's definitely smart. So what we're gonna do right now, folks, okay, we're gonna cut to a quick little commercial break, okay. But when we come back, don't go away because I have plenty more questions for Miss Taylor Calhoun. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
But she liked the way I think about feedback. Make her more face, plus she got the feedback. She wants to be so
Are you ready? Hey, are you ready to go or what?
What's up, everybody? It is the American Dream, Luca Brassy. Do you have a branding issue? Don't miss out, folks. Get your advertisement or commercial played on one of our epic shows, In The Limelight Live, every Wednesday night, hosted by yours truly, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, contact Teflon Taylor at info@focus.media.com.
If you want a great life, there can be no days off. No days off. The desire to improve. No days off. Wanting better for your life and those you care about.
Peace from the true and living God, supreme intellect. You're tuned in to the Focus TV1 network.
Yo, check it out. You know we different with it. In the spotlight on the gifted music artists from all walks of life.
Yeah, that's right. It's your time to shine. On the Focus TV1 network with your man Teflon, the creator Taylor. The Countdown Show, powered by Focus.media. www.focus.media.com.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is the American Dream, Luca Brassy. With me now is Miss Taylor Calhoun. So before we went on break there, we were talking a little bit about My Brother Cain, the fact that you're having dinner tomorrow with Chris and Tanya, the roles that you've done and whatnot. So, now let's get into just a little bit. We'll go back to your acting here in a minute, okay? But I want to get into your management, okay, of Symmetrical Defiance. Now, what kind of music do they do exactly?
So we're a heavy metal band out of Rome as well, and we have a lot of like different influences as far as like Amon Amarth, the Black Dahlia Murder, Avenged Sevenfold, even as far as Pantera. We kind of spread a little bit all across that map. It's a very broad spectrum, so you can hear a lot of different influences in our music, even some tribal from like Sepultura. So we really like to just kind of like mix it up and have a lot of fun with it and see what we can really bring to the table there. We actually, last time we talked, I announced that we were doing a show at the Lost Horizon that we just did, and I want to give a shout out to like Dead Rider, Corpse Ooze, Plastic Sunface, and also Nick from After Dark and Mosh Retirement for letting us come to the Lost Horizon and really just kind of blow the roof off the place. That was a lot of fun, and it was an incredible night with some incredible people, and I can't wait to do it again with them. I really can't. Also, right after that, we shot our music video for Devour the Sun with Matt Peters, actually. And we kind of did a little tie-in to Axe Grinder, the last movie that I did. So that's going to be a little teaser to Devour the Sun as well. And that was a lot of fun. We caused a huge uproar because we put a set of drums in the snow. I just want to say, for the record, the drums are fine. We took good care of them. They're resting and doing well. But we definitely lit a fire up through the metal community for that one.
Hmm.
So
I'm sure you would. They're probably seeing. They're like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?"
yeah, they lost their minds. Definitely a cardinal sin. I'll make sure to put that in my book to not put the drums in the snow again.
Yeah, seriously. But anyway, so now when you guys do perform and everything, about how long do your shows and sets usually last? Is it, do you guys do you open for people? Are you the headliner? Is it a single band show? Like what kind of shows do you guys do?
It all depends on the setup. We do a little bit of everything. The Lost Horizon show, we actually headlined, so we had a 45-minute set, and that was pretty cool too. We had access to the green room, so we had like the backstage experience and all that stuff. So it
Gotcha.
really just depends. Other times we can have a 30-minute set. Um, Sometimes we headline, sometimes we open, sometimes we're like co-headliners, which means we're secondary to the headliner.
Okay.
It really just kind of depends on who's putting on the show, what the setup is, if we're filling in a position or if we were on the bill in the first place.
Gotcha. I see. I see. And now, do you guys just strictly perform like around upstate, or do you guys go to like different states and things like that to perform as well?
We do go to different states. We don't go too far. Like we've gone to Pennsylvania and stuff like that, but it's really about the right place and the right time. We have to be really selective about those shows because a lot of people don't realize like the expenses on the other end of things.
Yeah.
The expenses are a whole nother animal, and I kind of want to touch base on that when we do our interview with Symmetrical Defiance on December 11th,
Hmm.
because it's something that we have a lot of people going, hey, why don't we? Why don't we? Why don't we? And I don't think they're aware on the back end of
Yeah.
what's really happening here.
Hmm. Hmm. I've been on a couple of tours. I was on a Northeast tour and a Southern tour a couple of years back, and the expenses can really add up, especially when you're doing it grassroots, when you don't have a label supporting you or sponsors or anything like that. When it's just you, it can get very expensive. So that I can definitely relate to what you're saying. You know that a lot, and people don't understand that. You know what I mean? They're like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It's like, well, first of all, that costs money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like, so it's the struggle is real, especially as like musicians and stuff on the independent level. You know what I mean? It's like it can actually get expensive, and you have to go to expense to perform live in a lot of cases. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from. Now, is that like is it their like full-time thing, like that they really want to make a career out of, or do they all do different stuff too?
They all do different stuff currently, but we have a common goal of trying to make it to at least the national level. As far as how national we go with it, we're not really sure yet. We're still kind of just riding that wave and seeing what's going on. But I feel like we're almost at that ceiling. We just need to kind of break through it. Um,
Okay.
so hopefully it can be something that we can have the option to support ourselves on. But
Hmm.
currently, right now, we're just kind of like maintaining a 9 to 5 and putting money into this thing like it's child support. It's really all we
Hmm.
can do.
Yeah. Now, hypothetically speaking, okay, let's just say hypothetical situation. 6 months from now, Symmetrical Defiance takes off. It becomes like a full-time gig for you and stuff. Is that what you would focus on, or would you still continue to try to do some acting gigs?
I would still do both because there is still a healthy balance, but also too, like, if this did take off, I would try to open my own side of management and just kind of
Hmm.
manage some bands, get some artists underneath my wing, and kind of try to work on a label as well, because then that could also kind of tether over into the media aspect as well. I want
Yeah.
to try to keep the network there because this network
Yeah.
and this has been really strong for me
Hmm.
in marketing and myself and the band.
Hmm.
You don't
And
forget where you came from.
yeah, and 100%, you got to remember your roots, and also branding yourself under one umbrella, where it's like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I've done with the PAL. You know what I mean? I have PAL Fitness, PAL PT and Fitness, my business. PAL is also my brand. You know what I mean? It represents a lot of the things that I do, and I put it all under kind of my music, modeling, acting, all that stuff is under the Luca Brassi moniker. I even use my Luca Brassi, moniker when I'm doing my training. You know what I mean? I call myself Coach Brassi. It's not my government name, but it's my brand name. You know what I mean? And that's
No,
to me,
absolutely.
and I think that that's important to do. You know what I mean? Is like when people see the power, when people hear the name, they're, oh yeah, that's the guy, the fitness guy, and he does the music and the modeling. Okay, yeah, I know who that is. And it's kind of funny because I picked a stage name that when people hear it, they automatically like, oh yeah, I've heard of him, and it's like, well, you might be thinking of Luca Brasi, the Godfather. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
people hear the name, and they automatically think that they know who that is, and that which helps. You know what I mean? Because even people, it can make you seem even bigger than you really are. It's like when you mention somebody's name and that you got people going, oh yeah, I heard of that person. Meanwhile, they might not even have any idea who you are. It still kind of gives you more credit. You know what I mean? So
It's that blanket effect for sure.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, just putting everything under one brand and one umbrella helps a real lot, you know, as far as like marketing and recognition and stuff goes. So what we're going to do right now, folks, we've got one more commercial break that we're going to cut to. But when we come back, we are going to be wrapping things up here with Miss Taylor Calhoun. We're going to finish up with her shout outs, her social media, and any upcoming events, folks. So do not go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is your host, Luca Brassy. With me right now is Miss Taylor Calhoun. Before we continue, folks, don't forget, okay, my dog, Mr. Bully Ray Studley, is going to be live. Well, not live, but we already went live, but he's going to be on this coming Saturday, 11/26 at 9 a.m. MDT. Okay, so don't forget to tune in to catch the inaugural show of the Pet Show featuring my little buddy. He's in the kitchen right now, chilling, trying to make some noise. He thinks I forgot about him. But Mr. Bully Ray Studley will be on this Saturday. So now, Taylor, okay, before we switch off here and everything, okay, one of the big things, okay, that I think is important is that people understand, that it takes time to become successful. You know what I mean? And I've invested a lot of time into myself. I know people like you invest a lot of time into themselves as well. So what kind of advice would you be able to give, the up and comers that might be watching and listening to the show right now, as far as no matter what the goal is, what they want to get involved, what could you tell, people that really want to, accomplish something in life? It's important that they know this.
So there's two things. Like, don't get disappointed because it doesn't happen as fast as you want it to. If it's not happening right now, that means it's not time for it to happen now. You're not ready. There's still lessons you have to learn. There's still things that you have to figure out before these things happen. And secondly, market. Market, 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 market. You're your biggest advocate. You're your biggest voice. And you need to push yourself out there. If you expect other people to market you back, you have to be the start. You're the cornerstone of everything for yourself. And just keep going at it. It, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. We've been working on this for years, and I feel like I've gotten lucky for it to have happened as fast as it has for me, and I'm very fortunate for that. But at the same time, it's still not happening without me putting my blood, sweat, and tears in.
Right. Yeah. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger said, number one rule, you have to work your ass off. You have to be willing to sacrifice. And I forgot who the hell I heard this from. Actually, no, I didn't. It was Bruce Pritchard on Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, YouTube podcast that I listened to. And he said there's three types of people in the world: those who try, those who give it their best shot, and those who do whatever it takes. And if you're one of those people that's willing to literally stick it out, and people don't understand, they see a lot of the stuff I'm involved with, but I've sacrificed a lot to be able to continue down the path that I'm going on. You know what I mean? And people like you and I, that's what we do. We live a life of sacrifice. So it's like any benefit that we get, we've earned it. You know what I'm saying? It's so that's why it annoys me when somebody says that somebody else just got lucky. And it's just kind of like, well, I mean, you don't know that. Like, you don't know their story. Like, you don't know, the first thing about them. Like, how are you going to say, like, a lot of people say, oh, Justin Bieber got lucky. Well, yeah, but he's also really talented. I'm not a Justin Bieber fan by any means, but I give credit where credit is due. You know what I mean?
But you don't
And
know
it
where
did
it came from before.
exactly. And he got found sort of by accident. If you believe in accidents, everything happens for a reason, I think. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we made that clear, that success doesn't happen overnight. And there's things like what you said, marketing and sticking to it. You know what I'm saying, that you have to do.
Humble. Stay humble. Don't get a big ego because
Mhm.
you're put on this pedestal, yes, but just remember that even Olympus can fall. And if you step wrong, you're done. Your career is done. Everything is done. So just remember where you came from and remember that you can always go back there.
Right. Now, what's next on the table for you? Do you have any upcoming projects or any upcoming shows with Symmetrical Defiance that people should know about, films or anything like that?
I don't have any upcoming projects, unfortunately, so I'm available if anyone's looking to film. But also with Symmetrical, I think we're going to hit the studio for a little bit. There's a couple of things in the works that I can't really talk about quite yet, but hopefully next time we talk by December 11th, I'll have some more news for you on that front. I just really want to focus on our album, getting our album perfected, hopefully get it out either by spring or summer of this year. We've been spending a lot of time on it, so I'm really hoping that it's ready for the general public here soon.
Very good. That's awesome. Okay, and last thing here, before we go off, okay, is any shout outs that you would like to give to anybody at all? And also, please, your contact information in case anybody would like to reach out to you.
Definitely. I do want to give a shout out again to Dead Rider, Corpse Ooze, Plastic Sunface, Nick from After Dark, and Mosh Retirement, The Lost Horizon for having us on the 19th. I want to thank them for the great time that we had. want to thank the boys at Symmetrical Defiance. I want to thank you, Luca, for having me here today. I also want to thank our boys from Otherworldly Entity. They've done a lot of work in the background helping us get a lot of these things working in motion. And for social media, you can find me on Instagram under Acid Rain, RAINE_. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, awesome. Taylor, honey, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Okay, I will talk to you on December 11th. Folks, this is Miss Taylor Calhoun. We are signing out, everybody. This is the American Dream, Luca Brassy, with Taylor Calhoun and Teflon Taylor signing out. Peace and pow.
More.